This game is called Story in 5 Sentences. Basically what you want to do is you want to cut a story down to the bare bones, and that way, you know, when you're doing an improvisation, you know what you have guidelines to follow. So you want to start with, your first thing is characters. So in this game, the first line would be, you want to establish your characters. The second line, you want to establish your setting. Third line is your problem. And then the fourth line is one of the most important things you can do in improv. It's called upping the stakes. And what upping the stakes does is that it makes the problem you have all the more important. It makes the audience want to see how you're going to solve it. It makes the audience care. So for example, let's say you had a paper cut. That was your problem, David. How could we make that, how could we up the stakes on that?
The paper cut hit my aorta.
Perfect. And you could bleed to death within seconds. So all of a sudden we've got a huge problem. We've upped the stakes. And then the fifth line of the story, we're going to solve the problem. So I start with the first line and I give the characters. David's going to give the location. I'll give the problem. He'll up the stakes and I'll solve it. And then we'll switch it around so he starts again. And you can do this as many times as you want. And this just gets you really into the structure of how a good improv scene should go. Are you ready? Okay. Once there were 2 angry dragons.
They were flying over North America.
One of them injured its wing on the flight and was having a really hard time flying.
And as the other one was trying to rescue the one with a broken wing, he came down with an incredible case of acid indigestion because they had been eating at a fast food restaurant in Jersey.
So, as they started to fall, the one dragon grabbed the other one's wings and they kind of bent them in to make almost like a parachute. And they parachuted down, luckily, right in front of a drugstore, and they bought Pepsi to AC, and stomachs were great. Okay, and David, you're going to start?
The Jolly Green Giant
was tiptoeing through the tulips one day.
When he realized he had a massive splinter in his big toe.
And it had gotten infected to the point that it was almost gangrene and that it would have to be chopped off.
Luckily, the Jolly Green Giant had seen this episode of MacGyver where he used 2 flower buds and some tree bark, and he performed 5 hours worth of outpatient surgery on himself, and the infection was averted, and he saved the day, and by the afternoon he was on the beach sipping large margaritas.
All right. So again, you can do this as many times. They're very quick stories, so you can go around and around and around. The more times you do them, the better you'll get at them.